Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts, and believe it or not, we really do want to work on that alpha. The reason why there's been this big hiatus is right here was like 3 big giant tables filled with this architectural job that we did that took forever to do, and then we had to buff it, and in the process of buffing, this red buffing rouge got everywhere, and we had to clean the shop up, and it's just been a total disaster. We've been doing some deep thinking about where we're headed, and we really want to do this alpha as much as possible. Last week I was intending to do a video, but there's always something in the way. There's always a project I got to get done, something to pay the bills. I want to talk about where we are with the alpha. It's going to be probably a little bit of repeat of what I did in the last episode, but to bring up some of the new people and to refresh your mind, what we did was we took this picture, which is an AI design, artificial design from midjourney.com. What we did on this is we interpreted that drawing and made this wireform all by eye. I think we only have at most probably like under 10 hours or so invested so far here. And we put this stand in the back so that you could see the wireform because you need the white cardboard and everything. So I've been thinking about this all along as to what the next step would be, and I might even be reiterating some of the stuff here, is that what has to happen now is I can't project the center and go up to the center line here because I need to know the width of the car. These lines here are preliminary wires that we bent in a quick way, so they have to be all checked. And I might have mentioned this before too, but I'm going to go over it again, is what you have to do is take on long flows of curves and straights, you use a 3/16 wire. And this is 1/4-inch wire for the wireform. And you can put that 3/16 wire and you just go like this, and you measure how it's hitting these here. So now this is pretty tight. This one's tight. That one's tight. No, that one's got a little gap in it. See, so that might have to come up. So some of these wires are going to have to be done over again. And then now we go like this, and and this wants to be pretty straight right in here. We've got a wire that's deficient by about 3/8 of an inch here. And we got to do this on every wire and see what the continuity of that line does. So this one's definitely bad. We got to adjust that. So those have been MIG welded in, and we can just break the MIG welds or make a new wire. So that process has to happen. That means we have to qualify every one of those wires and correct them, maybe add a few more wires into this wire form. So we'll check them all with that 3/16 rod. And then some of them that you have to do a bend to like this, we'll use a 1/8-inch rod, and we'll check all of those wires as well. See, so meanwhile, at the start of this process, this guy, Stuart Brown, who owns a company called Forte Vision, he's a really accomplished CAD guy, and he has a really expensive scanning machine, and he's well-known in England. He's in Dorset, England, down by the coast. He's only, I think, about 20 miles from the ocean, from the channel, basically. He befriended me online. We've had many conversations now on the phone. And on his own volition, he sees the promise of AI design, and he took in the same picture, and he's created a CAD model. He's got the model all done. He designed the interior and everything. Now, I may or may not use that. He's coming over next month, and he's going to stay here for a couple of weeks or more, and he wants to learn a little bit about shaping, and we're going to be transferring some information back and forth, sort of an exchange, just on a friendly basis, and he'll be working on this with me, and he'll have his laptop, and we can consult about a lot of the stuff here. I know what I want, and he probably knows what he wants, but I've looked at his model a little bit, and to me it looks like he flared it out here, and he might be right. So I might incorporate that, but that would come later. So that's going to be some interesting videos when Stuart comes over. He's a really great guy. And I always enjoyed talking to him. Tomorrow we're supposed to have another conversation on another subject. about another car. And what we got to do again on this is get all these wires right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to number each wire. We'll put a piece of tape with a magic marker, and we'll have them all numbered so we can account for where they belong and what placement. And then we're going to put cardboard, a big sheet of cardboard in the back, and trace this curve and get this all patterned on a piece of cardboard. And then a smaller piece of cardboard after these get corrected, and we'll trace all these, and we'll have a number and a tracing for each wire. And we're going to fill in a little bit more, so there'll be a couple more wires than what we see here. So then with that tracing, we'll bend all the wires, and they're going to be all symmetrical. And then we have the measurements for when we put this cardboard up here, we'll have measurements between each one of these wires. So we'll be able to mark off the new wire. We'll have to make a symmetrical copy of this whole side of the car. So this is the left side. We'll be making the right side of the car. And the reason why I want to do that is because now we can take the right side of the car and the left side of the car, and we can place it. We'll probably put it here in the middle of this space here. And I have the alpha rear end. We'll put the alpha rear end here and the alpha front end here, and that will set the track width. And we'll also be able to make sure that we have enough clearance on the tires and everything. And once we determine what the width of the body is actually supposed to be, then we can put the center wire in and then start filling it in. If we made the center wire right here now, that's a big guess, and we could easily screw up on the track width because you need to be able to see the car from all angles, to be able to walk around it. And if we have the two sides, if we need to move them out an inch this way or an inch in this way, we'll be able to do that, and we'll have the rear end and front end plugged in so we know that the track width is right, and we'll be able to see the aesthetic as we create the center wires. Now, the big mystery is the front is defined well, but the back is not. Now, Stuart has defined the back in his CAD model. I might go with that. And I after we get this assembly all together, and it comes to the point where I'm starting to fill in the center, and I want to get that back section filled in, I can just freeform it with the wires. But I also have another alternative, and I'll show you that. I did make a quick little video of showing the modeling process of making a scale model. And this is another AI design, and I did it by gluing up pine. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is actually the alpha. I glued this up probably like 2 weeks ago or so. And I was going to carve this similar to I carved this. How I carved it is with a grinder. So it's an outdoor job. The dust is everywhere. And I take a 24 grit on a 5-inch grinder and just grind away. Have the picture there to give me a little guidance. And this one, I probably got... I don't know, maybe 30, 40 hours in it or something. Now, I've been doing an hour at a time. And this is a late 30s French coach building design. It could be a Fagoni Falaschi, a Sauchik, I think. And there's a couple other French designers that did similar work in the late 30s. And I've always loved this style, and this one is exceptional. I was going to do this originally with the pine cord, just like this, and then put the clay on it. But I decided instead to do this Bondo, and it's taken a while, and it's still, probably another 4 or 5 hours. It just keeps going on because I'm a crazy perfectionist. I've got this front fender where I want it now, and you got to dial in the symmetry as well as possible too. So I want to make this actually an all-painted model and all dressed up with all the little details and everything. But this one is the alpha, and this will be a little bit different. I might just kind of carve the pine out with the grinder, and then instead of using the Bondo, I will use clay, and I'll clay model this, and that will give me a way. That's another way of how I want to shape that back end, because the back end's really important. It's probably... 50% of the design, or not that much, maybe 40% of the design. The back and the front are the most important, and then the silhouette. So I want to get that back a really nice-looking design, and it might take 2-3 iterations. With clay, it's pretty easy. If you're going to do it with Bondo, not so much. If you do it with wire, it's going to be a little tricky too, because you bend all the wires and you might have to cut them off. With the clay, okay, you need the fenders to protrude a little bit more. You put a little more clay on. You don't like it, take the clay off. It's pretty simple. So I might just concentrate on the back end of this model so I get some ideas, and I think that's going to help out a lot. But that's a little further down the road because we got to get the two sides done right. And then we're going to fill in the middle once we get the two sides right. We're going to put it over here. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. Thanks for watching. It's Ray from ProShaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts.